Hey guys, this is the part three of the 9/11 Colin Kaepernick Nike situation podcast. Um, yeah, so Gage, what do you have to say about Patriot Day?
Well, I mean, we're 2 days late on this, so sorry about that. But honestly, September 11th is really an important day for me because, I remember whenever I was in first grade, the whole thing happening. And, I didn't understand the whole gravity of the situation at the time, but I remember watching it on TV after I got home from school. And it was horrifying. And it truly did change the course of history and, the course of the way the world has gone for the past, 17 years now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think I agree. I kind of same situation. I got sent home from school, and my mom was upset watching TV. Yeah, it's pretty devastating. Um, I think it was a unique time for our country to come close. It was very patriotic, and
Yeah.
we were
I
all
mean, honestly,
together.
I, honestly, I think that's the last true time our country has come together on something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
which is
Um,
sad to say, but, you know,
I agree. It's just just you gotta. It's hard to take in, man. A lot of people died for no reason, and I just think, yeah, it's a terrible thing. It's a very terrible thing. One of the saddest times in this country's history.
yeah. And definitely for me today, still it's hard to watch now. It's hard to, you know, I mean, that whole day, usually I feel, kind of depressed. I mean, still remembering it and stuff, um, but yeah, it definitely changed the course of history and it definitely, you know, shaped, shaped the way things have been for the past, 17 years, for good or for bad.
For sure, I
Um,
agree. It's just crazy to think about, man. Like shit like that could happen. I just you know. Well, do you think? Do you believe? I know we've talked about this before, but do you believe? Like what do you believe happened? Like, do you believe exactly what was said? Like, what do you think happened as far as like the events of that day?
no, I don't think, um,
Like, why do you
I
think this
don't
happened?
believe, I don't believe the exact story that the government tells you because obviously you know, usually the story that the government tells you there's holes in and they cover stuff up and stuff like that.
I
I don't
agree.
think the government had any part in it or anything like that. I'm not one of those people. I don't think that, I don't think it was a controlled demolition or, whatever else. I think that's kind of a stupid conspiracy theory. I do think that the government had warning about something happening, um,
Yeah, I
because
agree.
it has been proven that Israeli intelligence and Russian intelligence warned us that something was going to happen. I'm not, obviously the government didn't know the scale of the things. I don't think, and or what was going to happen, or where, or when, or anything like that. But I definitely think that they knew something was going to happen, and I think I I
So
think they were kind
Gage,
of oblivious to the. I think they were kind of oblivious to the whole situation,
Gage,
and and afterwards, I think they took full advantage of it.
I agree. I agree. Okay, I could get on board with that a little bit. So let me ask you this: Was Robert Mueller telling the truth then, or is he telling the truth now? Or I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is he the same guy? A lot same
No,
guys working.
well, like I said, there's definitely holes in the story.
Yeah, you
There's
know what I'm
definitely
saying?
holes.
Like, I
There are
don't know.
definitely holes in the story.
Okay, so listen
I
here.
mean, we
Let
can
me.
we can poke our holes in the story if we want to. You can start out if you want.
This though, okay, so this is why I like Trump though. I really do because here's the thing: there's bullshit, and they've been doing it for years, and it didn't just start with Trump. And I think it started a little bit like close to JFK time, maybe a little bit before. I don't, I'm not clear. I'm not too familiar the best with that time frame. But here's what I think happened. I agree. I don't think it was a. I don't think there was like our government was like, here's what you need to do. Do something terrible. Here's a fucking bunch of money to ram fucking whatever into the buildings. Yeah, I don't think we did anything like that. I definitely don't think George Bush was involved. I think he was just a pawn. I do think the agencies, I agree. I think they knew more than they let on. And they withheld information from us and from each other. So I think they were negligent with information. And what I also believe is that there's a lot of back channels in this that didn't quite add up and that could have been prevented that, they're really trying to cover up. Such as, like, a lot of the people were here training, doing shit. They were with fucking FBI informants, things like that. And, like, we knew where these people were, what they were doing. Like, we kind of have an idea about these people. So I think there's something like that. Part B is later on. Well, not just all that. Bin Laden used to work for the CIA for to save his ass, and we already know in the past the CIA to get shit done they take advantage of people, and then when they don't need them anymore, they disappear. Whatever. Like because that's also been proven. So there's that whole aspect. I won't even touch that. A third. There's four things here. There's four. Actually, this is a 5-step thing. This is the third one. Okay. So the Bin Laden, the the motives, the neglect. The third thing. We had interest. There's a financial interest in the weapons and financial weapons in war. I mean, there's financial investment in war and all this stuff. There's money to be made and all these things, and we need an excuse to fight. So we need, I think there's some back channeling there, maybe indirectly with terrorism, but maybe a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The fourth thing to back that up, a bunch of money. I showed you that article, I believe, too. Like, this is when we first talked about this, about there's like over $1 trillion in cash unaccounted for the day before the 9/11 attack that has never been explained. It just vanished. What happened to that money? There's $1 trillion our federal government gave overseas that no one's ever kept track of. And then my fifth thing, the 9/11 attacks, with all the people that we knew that were involved in all this and that, whatever, that did all these things, we turned a blind eye. We had it's. I'm not saying a false flag necessarily, but I think they had the right people in the right places enough to not fuck it up. And they did the exact same things that they needed to do to cover up the tracks of the shit they had planned, bro. I think that there's a reason why I hit the Pentagon at the fucking, the place that hit it, because there's a place in the Pentagon that, stored all that shit or, whatever, that was destroyed. I think the Trade Center building, you said the controlled demolition. I don't know any of that shit. I'm not a fucking architect or whatever. I believe that the planes bombed down, but maybe in the mix of it, there was a Building 7 behind those buildings that also collapsed. There's no planes that hit that or anything, and it just fell. In that building, the CIA, a bunch of DOJ, the FBI, a bunch of all these files, informants, information, and all this shit, and then shit about Bin Laden was stored in that building, and it was destroyed strategically. There's no, like, and that's proven. That is proven. So to say, I just don't buy that these people randomly chose these buildings in the Pentagon or whatever. It's a terrible thing and it should not have happened, yes. But I think there was really dark shit and deep shit that the government was planning or they were completely negligent on and they didn't want us to know or whatever, because it would have been one of the worst things we've ever seen. Because, and I don't even want to imagine what it is, but that is the reason why this shit happened. I'm not saying they planned, hey, make these put these planes through these places, I think they said, fuck, I don't know, like, fuck it, because we don't know what to do. That's what I think happened. I don't even know what that shit is. I need to look more into that, but that's what my point is. From what I have read and everything I've seen, all angles on this, that is what makes sense to me. And I don't know. Like, can we prove otherwise? I mean, does any of that seem too far-fetched to you? Especially like with our conversation we just talked about, how these people are all on the same fucking side. It's been going on forever, dude. And it's like a bunch of events here and there. It's like, is that really? Sometimes horrible things happen. I'm not going to say everything's a fucking conspiracy, but if I was a gambling man, I don't know, I would bet maybe there's more to this story.
Yeah, well, yeah, I definitely think there's more to the story. I agree with you on some points, but I don't agree with you on others. First of all, being the Building 7 collapse, I think that would do more to structural damage from both of the Twin Towers, absent anything else. But I will agree with you that I think it was to get involved over in the Middle East. I don't think that the government did it, but from my point of view, look at it logically a couple ways. Number one, I have a hard time believing Al Qaeda was the sole ones to do this.
No,
because number one, there are a bunch of freaking, Al Qaeda was a bunch of guys that lived out in caves basically in Afghanistan, and you're telling me that all of a sudden they knew how to fly 767 jetliners at almost Mach 1, weaving in and out of New York City into the Twin Towers, or flying them 20 feet off the ground at the speed of sound into the Pentagon.
No,
it's like,
but
you know how much years of training that would take?
No.
And number two, the whole thing with Muhammad Atta's driver's license, which, I agree that he was part of it, but, who knows who he worked for. They magically found his driver's license throughout all the rubble in New York City, and it was unscathed, and all this other stuff. It seems too convenient.
Okay, I don't know about
all the black boxes from the airplane and stuff like that. It seems too convenient for me.
Yeah, that's true.
You figure all the, most of this shit would have been destroyed. You might find some evidence or something like that, but you're telling me you found this dude's driver's license unscathed. You found all these black boxes from all the airplanes whenever they freaking disintegrated, and they were buried under, tons of rubble. And then you're telling me that this ragtag group of people came over and learned how to fly little Cessna planes in Florida, like barely a year before it happened, and then all of a sudden they know how to fly 767 jetliners at the speed of sound into, and hit their exact target.
Okay, listen to me.
It doesn't add up to me.
Hold on. First of all, I think you're right. It's not just them. But I think a bunch of radical Islamists, Pakistanis, Saudis, grouped with the negligence of America or the turning the cheek of American intelligence because of Saudi money, I think they could pull it off. I think they could pull it off. And I think that is it that greed, maybe with the money, because money talks, my friend, that, hey, maybe America, if you look the other way, we'll do something. We can start a war here because we can both make money from it. Maybe something like that. And that could very well happen. That is definitely not believable. If you're asking for answers, there's your fucking answer. And I think that's fucking a good one. I mean, I don't know what
could be.
Right?
Well,
right?
And that could
is that
be,
far-fetched?
And I've also, and that could be, and I've also seen, honestly, like, these people had to have been trained pilots, like well-trained pilots. And I think, that it would have had to involve some type of government or something like that.
They came to fucking Florida and trained, Gage. They came We let
Yeah,
them
they came
come
to
here to
Florida and flew
train.
freaking little Cessna planes. They didn't fly
Okay.
767s.
Yeah, but that's fine. But I'm telling you, like, besides that, they probably had other inside help. That's what I'm telling you, my man. And I don't think it's too
Well,
far fetched
but
for corrupt
let me
motherfuckers who
finish.
are getting paid
Let
off to
me
look the
finish
other
my
way.
point. Let me finish my point. All right. So I said all this stuff, but I'm saying that I think they definitely had help from some other foreign agency. And, I'm not saying that I believe in this particular one, but I have heard this, that, it might have been the Mossad in Israel, for instance, because there was an article posted shortly after 9/11 from ABC saying that there were people around Ground Zero, like as the World Trade Centers got hit, there were 5 Israelis in a van that came over here from Israel, started their own company. According to them, they were on vacation, started their own company while on vacation, which that story doesn't add up at all. But they were sitting there filming the Twin Towers after they got hit and basically celebrating. And this woman reported them, and the police tracked them down eventually, and they pulled them over, and the FBI arrested them. The one dude had like $1,400 in a sock. The other ones were carrying around, box cutters and stuff like that. And they said, radical Islam is now your problem too, and stuff. And the FBI sat there and interrogated them for, a week or two, and then they just let him go and sent him back to Israel. And that was it. And I think, I'm not saying that I believe this, but according to the conspiracy theory, Israel would want us to get involved in that war because they've been dealing with radical Islam forever, and we also had interest in getting the oil in the Middle East and stuff
Well,
like that.
that's what I'm
we just
telling
needed an
you.
in.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that makes fucking sense. Like we trillion over $1 trillion, dude, unaccounted for the day before. That tells me, if I was a gambling man again, hey, we sent cash, much like Obama did for the deal, the Iran deal. We sent fucking cash to them instead of fucking promising not nukes to, create an event to get us involved. That is the fucking transaction. That was our transaction. The next fucking day, it's like, all right, here's the fucking plan. Like, they had it planned. And between what you said, between Israel, maybe a little bit of CIA, not that much, or FBI, not that much, maybe a lot, I don't know. We don't know any of it. That's what sucks. Maybe with Osama bin Laden, all these dots. That's what I'm saying. Maybe they all were on the same fucking side. Like that. Like they're all fucking figuring out.
I think more we turned a blind eye to things. I think that the information was provided that something. No, I think the information was provided that something was going to happen, and we turned a blind eye to it. And then after it happened, we had an in, and we took full advantage of it.
And I think that we turned a blind eye, and we could have stopped whatever happened. That's my point. But because we did, because they just said. They said.
I don't think we could have stopped it.
I think we could have. I don't believe so. I don't believe that.
I mean, we'll never know that.
Yeah, I know that, but Gage, we're the number one fucking military. We could have stopped it, and I think
but that didn't have anything to do with the military, though. It was all civilian.
But here's what sucked. It was all fucking FBI and these unelected bureaucrats, dude. That's what the fucking problem was. There's no accountability and shit. And then the president didn't get involved until later. Like, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I think we just got played. I think we got played by, a foreign group, whoever that might be, whether it's Al Qaeda, whether it's Mossad, whether it's whoever. And I think we got played, but then we took full advantage of it afterwards, because we had our in, because the whole entire world would support us at that point in invading Afghanistan and invading Iraq. I don't know. Well, and that's the thing, too, that, brings a lot of things to question. There's something in Afghanistan that people want. Because the Russians invaded it in the 80s. We've invaded it since. There's something there. Which,
power.
I don't know what it is, whether it's opium, whether it's, to control the drug trade or something like that. I don't know. But
It's opioids.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. But there's something there.
Okay,
Because,
so
you know,
yeah, I can get on
because
board with
Russia
that.
wouldn't just invade them for no reason. We wouldn't just invade them for no reason.
Well, we want
Like,
a part of the drug trade because it's illegal here, and we can't have people making money around us. I mean, come on.
yeah,
Why would
well,
everybody
yeah,
else
and
make money?
I think it is possibly drugs.
Yeah, but
But,
anyway,
you
beside
know,
all that, going back to the buildings because we're almost out of time. The building, the structural damage. I will say, dude, those buildings could have been on fire for like several more hours than they were. Like before they collapsed, like before any structural damage would have happened. And they came down like a
no.
controlled demolition. There's been several architects and stuff that I've read that said it looked
I'll
like
send you a video after this.
Okay, but anyway, did you see the loose change article? I mean the video.
No, I didn't have time.
You have okay. Well, sometime check that out because it explains that in that as well. There's a few guys on there that get on and explain that, but it looks like a controlled demolition. I don't know about again. I'm kind of skeptical as well.
It's not. It's not a controlled demo.
But here's what I think is I think
that's one.
here's the
that's
thing.
The one
Okay, I don't know. I don't know about that. Like I said, I'm not sure. I'm skeptical about that. Whatever. Okay, I don't think. I think it's indifferent about that. I think the towers were as bad as it sounds. Were like the decoy. I think after they fall, you can control demolition. The building 7. I don't think it was the towers falling on that shit. I definitely don't buy that shit. But I think it was destroyed somehow or strategically destroyed for the exact reasons that I've laid out earlier. That's all of our answers to our questions that we're asking right now were in that building, and they needed to cover their asses after this shit hit the fan. They need to cover their asses. And I think when we're going back earlier about people colluding, or whatever, our government gave these foreign people money to do this, to get us in war, to make more money, or get opioids to get more money, because and that money was okay. This can't get back to us. Whatever the plan is, keep us out of it. But it is make sure all these loose ends are. That's what we were accounted for. And I would, if I was a betting man, I would say we knew that some bad shit was going to happen, and that but there's worse shit that could have been exposed if this bad shit could happen, and like every motherfucker would go down for the shit that's happened. I really believe that. I believe that 100%, 110%, especially knowing today these guys that will lie under oath to our faces over, shit about Trump or bias against Trump. Just simple as that. If we're talking about terrible things, these people would lie about clearly biasness today and shit like that today to our faces. Why certainly wouldn't they why wouldn't they lie to us then about hell of a lot more serious thing that they were clearly negligent on, that we clearly know about, at least that part? Why wouldn't they lie to us about the rest of the way? And why wouldn't they lie about like covering up their shit? Or what about this money that's missing? Why wouldn't they if they did it? And they clearly lie. They've lied through history, and they've lied forever because they're not held accountable for anything they do, and that's why they can do the things they do, and that's why these politicians get rich because of corruption like this. And that was one that gone too far, and it couldn't have gone out. And something like this had to happen because of such corruptness, and that's a shame that people died the way they did because of these people. And I'm telling you, it's a terrible thing. The FBI and the CIA are not good things for this country. We need a different way to gain intelligence, because it's not working. It's never worked. Like, it hasn't worked since it began.
Well, and like I said, I don't think they were in on it at all. I think that they got.
I don't know.
Maybe
not.
They didn't do it. But
I don't think so. I don't think they did it. I don't think they did it.
I think that they knew something was going to happen.
Yes, and I think they were in deep, my man. I think they were
turned
in
a blind eye.
Yes.
I will say
I
that.
think they were in
I don't think
deep,
that they were in on it.
and I really think it would be foolish not to think that, especially now that it's getting exposed, and they're the same people. Like, this is peanuts compared to 9/11 if you think about it. Well, if you ask fucking what's his name, that Morning Joe guy. Trump is worse than Islamic terrorism, but like that's what I'm saying. They lie about this, and that's been proven. So why wouldn't they lie about that? And it's more money. There's more at stake. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
but
man.
again,
Here's his license, like you said. Here's his license. Come
well,
on.
yeah, exactly. Well,
Come
that's
on.
the thing. Yeah, convenient things showed up that are really suspicious. But I don't believe the whole controlled demolition shit.
I don't know about that. I do know that building was destroyed strategically because of a lot of important shit. The Pentagon was hit. The Pentagon was hit. How it was hit because important shit.
I don't think that the terrorists weren't even planning on those buildings to collapse, but that was like an added bonus.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, again, that's what I'm gray on. I don't know about any of that shit. The control, whatever. I think that was all terrible events. However, even without the buildings collapsing, I think Building 7 goes down, and they blame it on something like that. Scrap metal hit this building, and we had to, it will have gone down regardless of what happened.
It did wipe out like a quarter of its foundation before it fell.
Okay, so see, I think that was the main goal. So, whatever. Like I said, I think there was make sure these things are taken care of. These loose ends. Other than that, we don't know. We don't know.
Another point that I forgot to mention too was that Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, after it happened, they originally denied it. Right after it happened, they said we didn't do this.
And usually they're proud of that.
You figure with a radical Islam group like Al Qaeda or ISIS, who usually claims responsibility for some big attack, like especially if you were a member of Al Qaeda and you pulled off that, you figure you would be the first one to come out and say, "Yeah, we did this shit."
Well, let me put it this way:
they came out and they didn't come out. Osama bin Laden did not come out until 2004 and admit that they did it.
Because here's the thing: because he worked for the fucking CIA. Because he was like, what probably went through his head? He was probably like, "Oh my god, they're gonna fucking pin this on me. Oh my god, they got their use from him." And how we were going back. How we're talking about they were colluding, like the countries maybe had an interest, to do this. Yeah. Every plan needs a fall guy. Every plan needs the fucking guy, the fall guy. Guess who it was? Osama. He had no more use for them. If I had to that was his role in the thing. He had to be the fall guy, and he wasn't in on the plan, my dude. If I had to guess, he was not in on the plan, and that's why we're so adamant to kill him.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I mean,
see, does that kind of make sense though too?
Yeah, well, yeah, I get.
I mean, what easier target than the guy that's the radical Islamist? Who's going to fucking argue that? Nobody. Nobody.
Well, especially since Al Qaeda was known for hijacking planes and stuff like that.
Exactly. Easy money, my man.
Yeah,
easy money.
But well, and that's the thing. It's like, I honestly, will we ever know what happened? I don't know. But one more point I think we should address before we go. What do you think happened to Flight 93? The one that crashed in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't they just crash that into the field? From what they were told us, I'm not too clear about that one.
That's the story. I think the government shot it down.
Why though?
Because there's eyewitness accounts and stuff right after it happened, saying that they saw military jets fly over, right before that airplane crashed in Shanksville.
Oh well. Here's the thing.
We're basically on the jet's tail.
Didn't they shoot that down? If it wasn't the Pennsylvania one crashing after the others?
Yeah, it was the fourth one. It was on its way to the Capitol building.
Okay, so listen. I think that's a good call because if you've
Yeah,
already
I do
seen what
too.
happened, they knew
Well,
these
but they
planes.
covered it up with. Well, I think they covered it up with the passengers took the plane down, like in a moment of heroism and stuff, to give a bright end to the day
That's fine with
because they
me.
didn't
Hey,
want to come
that's
because they didn't
okay.
want to come out and say that, oh, your own government shot down an airliner,
No,
because
listen,
that would put mass panic and people would be like, oh my gosh, the government freaking shot down an airplane.
listen. I think that's okay considering the circumstances. We knew that they were
Yeah, I
clearly
do
hijacked.
too.
I
I
think
do
that's
too.
okay, and
But I
I
mean,
also
you think
think
of
in
it.
that instance it's okay for them to tell us the heroism thing. I think that's fine. I think that's more of a. I know this is gonna sound terrible and a little contradictory, but something like that, I don't think that matters. I think clearly that was a good decision on the government because we don't need more casualties. There's already hijacked. There's no way. We don't know what these people are thinking, and I'm sure we gave them plenty of time, and I'm sure it's very
Yeah,
strategic. There's a lot that went into it, and also they probably would have died. I really don't think it was that bad. Yeah, I think that's a good call. All right, well, yeah, so we'll just end right here. We're about 30 minutes into this one, so. All right, well,
yeah.
thanks guys for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is the Justice for All podcast. Until next time.